pledge to be presented by our county clerk, Roxanne Holloway.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, as we meet this afternoon, we just want to thank you for being a loving and gracious Father. We ask that you fill this place with your presence, Lord. Help us to communicate with grace and understanding. Guide the decisions made today and help us to work together for the good of Lenawee County. And we ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Clerk Holloway. I'd ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioner Ungst?
Here.
Commissioner Blanco?
Here.
Commissioner Collins?
Here.
Commissioner Daly?
Here.
Commissioner Krasny?
Here.
Commissioner Martis?
Here.
Commissioner Stimson is absent. Commissioner Tillotson?
Here.
Commissioner Van Doren?
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of July 9th, 2025 would be in order.
Okay.
Thank you. Be sure to use your mics. Approval of the minutes of July 9th, 2025 would be in order.
So
moved.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Unk, supported by Commissioner Blanco. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Minutes are approved. Amendments to the agenda. I have 2. One will be under special presentations by Sheriff DeVere for an employee recognition. And the second one would be under new business for a request for building naming. Any other additions to the agenda?
If there are no other additions, I would move that we accept them as printed with those exceptions.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Tillotson, supported by Commissioner Krasny. Is that right?
Me.
Oh, excuse me, Commissioner Martis. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Petitions and communications. Okay. Clerk Holloway.
It's a resolution from the County of Houghton, and it's urging action to oppose proposed cuts to Medicaid by the federal government, and that's all that I had.
Anybody else? Thank you. Introduction of special guests. Limited public comment. This is the time appearing on the agenda for any, you can speak to the commission for 3 minutes on any item that's on the agenda. You'd have to fill a form out and have it passed up here. And it's not a dialogue with the commission, it's to state your position on an agenda item. Are there any public comments? Okay, I didn't have any set up to me. Thank you. Resolutions and proclamations. We have a resolution for Overdose Awareness Day and Recovery Month to be presented by Commissioner Krasny, and we have with us today Dawn Finney of the Community Mental Health and Teresa Ripley of Lenawee County Recovery Court, if you'd like to come up and join us, or anybody else involved in recovery. Please join us.
On over. I'm not that scary. National Overdose Awareness Day and Recovery Month. Whereas Overdose Awareness Day is recognized internationally on August 31st annually to raise awareness of drug overdose, the stigma associated with overdose deaths, and acknowledge grief experienced by families and friends, remembering those lost and injured as a result of drug overdose. And whereas Recovery Month is recognized nationally throughout the month of September to promote new evidence-based treatment and recovery practices. the strength and resilience of the recovery community and highlight the providers and communities that support recovery from substance use disorders. And whereas in 2023, the state of Michigan mourned the loss of 2,931 lives to overdose, including 9 residents of Lenawee County, and experienced more than 28,000 non-fatal overdose-related emergency department visits, including 222 in Lenawee County. And whereas substance use disorders remain a significant public health concern affecting individuals of all ages, races, and backgrounds, requiring a coordinated, compassionate response that includes prevention, treatment, and long-term recovery support. And whereas recovery is not only possible, but achievable, offering hope and a healthier, more fulfilling life for individuals and families affected by substance use disorders. And we encourage family and friends to take preventative steps, recognize overdose warning signs, support access to recovery services, and help reduce stigma so those in need feel safe seeking help. And now, therefore, the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim August 31st as National Overdose Awareness Day and September 2025 as National Recovery Month in Lenawee County. And I call upon our community to observe these occasions. I do so move.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Krasny, supported by Commissioner Collins. Discussion. Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Daly, Commissioner Krasny,
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson is absent. Commissioner Tillotson,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Doren,
Yes.
Commissioner Ungst,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanco.
Yes.
8 yeas, 1 absent.
Resolution passes.
All right, pile on here. Thank you so much. Would one of you like to make some remarks? Your Honor?
Pointing at me, so. I'd just like to thank the entire commission for your support of recovery in Lenawee County, and as the presiding judge for the Veterans Treatment Court, thank you especially on behalf of the brave men and women who have fought for our freedoms and are now fighting a different battle, one against substance abuse disorders. And I will apologize for having to leave your meeting early, but I'm going directly to a session of our Veterans Treatment Court where we have one graduate who regularly comes back and mentors the other participants because he's made it his life's work now to help others through substance abuse. We have another who is earnestly working his way through the program, one that's about to graduate, and one that reminds us today that substance use disorders or recovery is a journey and not a destination. And so your support here today makes all that work possible. So thank you very much.
Thank you all so much.
Special presentations, the Lenawee County audit presentation by our finance director, Dan.
I'm gonna make it try.
Okay. Zimalaska. Zimalaska.
Zmolzak.
Smallzak. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Today we have for you our 2024 Lenawee County Audit presentation, and we have Michael Rolka here from the audit firm Yo and Yo, who will present. But before he starts, I just wanted to say the whole audit process is quite a team effort. I considered naming some of the major contributors, the different departments, but I didn't want to exclude one over another. So I'll just say it was a complete team effort. If we could go to the next slide, I'll just introduce our audit team real quickly. Beyond myself, sorry, one more up. There was Michael, who's behind us. Molly Leck, who was the on-site auditor. She was in charge of basically everything going on at the on-site here. And then also Teresa Choate, who was the interim finance director and a consultant that we hired during that transition time frame, and also to help prepare the financial statements. Michael will be talking about the audit and their observations, and then after his comments are done, we will open it up for any questions you might have. So with that, I'd like to introduce Michael Rolka with the firm Yo and Yo.
Thank you. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. So once again, I am Mike Broca with Yo and Yo CPAs. I apologize that Molly's not here with me. That was the plan, but unfortunately she had a passing in the family, so had to reschedule some things there. So I do apologize for that. So as Dan mentioned, an audit takes a tremendous amount of preparation. That's all behind the scenes and nobody really sees. And so I do want to thank Dan and his team, as well as every department, and Raymond Robson for working so hard to get everything ready. It really was a great process, and I would say the best year since we've been involved and been the auditors. Smoothest audit to date that I've been involved with here at the county. So what I'm going to touch on is what our opinion is on the financial statements and the single audit compliance, and then we'll, from the 10,000-foot view, touch on some of the numbers and trends from prior years. But remember, that's the 10,000-foot view to just get you a gauge of how things are looking compared to past years. So first, and really the bottom line of the audit on the financial statement audit, is that we've issued an unmodified opinion. And that's what you want to hear every single time you have an auditor present to you. That means that the financial statements are materially correct and there's reasonable assurance about that. So we say reasonable assurance because we cannot look at every single transaction. You know, we do our risk assessment, develop audit procedures, and we perform those procedures on a test basis. So what that means is the big numbers are correct. There could be minor, small issues, but those may have gone undetected as a part of our procedures. With that, please remember that this audit was for the year ended December 31, 2024. So the audit commenced in April and we wrapped it up in June. Maybe it was March and wrapped it up in June. And so now we're presenting on those numbers. So everything you're going to hear me talk about with the numbers now, of course, has changed since then from all the activity you had in the year. During that year, there were two major accounting standards that were adopted. The first one was GASB Statement 100, which really changed the way you disclose error corrections, which there were none, or implement new accounting standards, which there was GASB Statement 100 on compensated absences. That is a new financial reporting, a new model for all entities, governmental entities, to record their compensated absences. So that's paid time off, sick time, vacation time, other sorts of time off that would be paid for. Fortunately for the county, it didn't really affect the balance and it didn't really affect the calculation. We looked at the inputs and looked at the assumptions used, and they are accurate and appropriate. With that, part of our auditing procedures will always be to look at any of the significant estimates that are in the financial statements. And sometimes when I say that, people get a little bit scared saying, what do you mean there's estimates in our statements? But you could never prepare a set of financial statements without some level of estimation. So the most significant estimates in these financial statements are your useful lives for capital assets. So that would be when you purchase a new building or a new truck or what have you. How long do you expect that to last? And therefore, how much depreciation do you take each year? Leases receivable, such as your cell towers and office space. The net pension liability, that is a really large estimate. It takes into account mortality rates, the discount rate, inflation, investment rate of return. So any change to those could change that estimate, and that's prepared by actuaries. We also look at the allowance for doubtful accounts, and then lastly, that compensated absences that I mentioned. We can report there's been no bias in making those estimations and that all of the inputs and assumptions are reasonable. Lastly, no difficulties were encountered during the audit. Happy to say that. I hope I say that every single year in every audit I present. But lastly, there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies identified, meaning no findings. We didn't have any significant adjustments. Everything looked really, really good. On the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about the single audit results. So federal expenditures during 2024 were just under $10 million. And that the majority of that was the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, or also known as ARPA. That was about $5.6 million, and that was the major federal program that we were required to test. I'm happy to report an unmodified opinion on compliance for that program, and we've identified no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies related to the expenditures of those funds as well. Now we'll get into some of the numbers at a very high level, and really I'm only going to touch on things that are a little bit different looking from the prior year. So here on this first slide, you see the assets for the county. You see cash went up about $5 million and receivables went down about $6 million. Those kind of go hand in hand. You've collected more money this year, and so the cash is up. The other big thing here would be the capital assets. That's increased as well. And the deferred outflows, that is primarily made up of amortization layers for pension liabilities. So those will change year over year, and you really can't expect those to ever be comparable. The next slide has liabilities. The first line is the accounts payable and other liabilities, and that one really can change at any given point of time, depending on when a check run has been done or what significant bills you may have outstanding at the end of your fiscal year. Long-term debt reduction based on your normal payment schedule. You can see that net pension liability this year changed $6 million from the prior year. That is subject to market performance and those assumptions that I talked about. So when the actuaries change the assumptions, that can really change that liability quite a bit in a hurry. Everything else on there fairly comparable year over year. I will touch on what the deferred inflows of resources is. That's pretty well split evenly between the pension layers, deferred tax revenue, and the deferred lease revenue. The following slide breaks down what the net position allocation is. So unrestricted 43%, net investment in capital assets 42%, and then restricted 50%. All of these allocations is very consistent year over year. Really the only thing I want to say about this is what those restricted funds mean is those are outside grants or federal grants or money coming from the state that isn't derived from the county itself, and so has to be used for a specific purpose. The next slide here kind of puts everything together and shows what your net position was over the past 5 years. You can see that really they're trending quite nicely and staying very stable. That's what I want you to take out of this slide. I do always like to see when the net investment in capital asset tends to go up over time. That means you're putting money back into your capital assets and not letting it completely deteriorate. This next slide is a 5-year bar chart of what the revenues and expenses were for the governmental activities. You can see revenues each of the 5 years has exceeded expenses, which means that you're operating within the money you receive. You're taking a conservative approach in maintaining the county with what you have available. That's really what I take out of this slide. Next, we're going to get into a couple of slides that are for the governmental funds. So that wouldn't be the county as a whole. It'd just be your governmental funds. Primarily the general fund makes up the bulk of this. But again, you can see revenues. The top line there is revenues from property taxes. That has steadily increased year over year. And then intergovernmental what you'll take from this is money you're getting from the state and especially those federal grants. That's going to be the ARPA primarily this year is why you see that big increase. But we'd also expect it to be fairly high next year as those ARPA funds are spent down. This next slide has kind of the rest of the revenues, if you will, for the governmental funds. They're lesser in extent, but you can see they kind of stay around $3 million, and you could see some fluctuation year over year with these. So there's nothing alarming here, but I think it is nice to see the 5-year trend. Very consistent with 2023, actually. This next slide puts it all together to see the big picture of the governmental fund, the general fund specifically for the last 5 years. I'd really like to focus on this year where you can see there's a pretty sizable gap between expenditures and revenues. Again, that's because of the ARPA funds. You recognize those funds and you'll see that your fund balance in the orange there went up about $3 million. So that's adding to your reserves. Now, one thing to point out and to take note of is although your expenditures are quite a bit under the revenues, that green bar there shows a $6 million of transfers. So that's transfers to subsidize other funds and set aside money for capital projects. This next slide gives you a picture of how long you can last without receiving any money at all. If you stop receiving any of your payments, no revenue streams are coming through, the general fund would have coverage of 6.5 months. So you'd be able to operate for just over half a year without any additional funding, which really means what's it boiled down to? It's a very healthy fund balance. Okay, a couple new accounting standards are being coming out within the next 2 years that will have some significant impact on your financial statements. We'll work with Dan and the team to make sure those are implemented appropriately. So I'd just like to briefly touch on what those are. So the first one will be the year we're currently in, and that's for certain risk disclosures. I always like to give an example of what that would mean. So if there were just one major taxpayer here in the county and it was maybe 15–20% of your property tax revenue, and they were to start going bankrupt, we'd want to make some disclosures about that and talk about what the plan is to deal with that loss of revenue. GASB Statement 103 is financial reporting model improvements. What that will primarily do is it will change some of the classifications of operating versus non-operating revenues and subsidies in the proprietary fund statements. And then it will also require a new variance column in your budgetary schedules. So you'll have to have your original budget, your final budget, and then a variance between those and make explanations for significant changes. That's completely new. And you'll also have to explain significant budget changes compared to actual. So that might require a little bit more work on the finance team's part. The last one is disclosure of certain capital assets. This one really is, I would say, minor compared to the other two. It really just goes into how to disclose assets that are held for sale and some of the intangible assets that might come into play from lease liabilities or subscription software. But I don't think that one will have too much of an impact. And I should say 103 and 104, those are both for fiscal 26, so your next operating year. With that, I really want to thank the team again, Kim, Dan, everybody that was involved. Too many people to name, as Dan said, but I think it went really, really great. And I appreciate you guys choosing Yo and Yo. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mike. Are there questions from commissioners? I think we appreciate the relationship that we have with Yo and Yo, and we're extremely pleased with our new finance director who's only been with us a couple years. I think this is your second audit, right? Dan?
First audit.
Yep, first audit here. Yeah, I think you started right after we finished up the year before.
Yeah.
Great job. So, questions? Commissioner Tillotson.
And just a comment, as you was going through your audit, you got towards the end and you made the statement that if we didn't have any money, that we had enough money to run this government for 6.5 months, right?
For the general fund only.
Yes.
General fund only, yes.
Which I've been on commission quite a few years. they always used to tell us, always need to have enough money in the budget to run 100 days. So when you take 6.5 months, that's pretty close to 200 days. So that's a pretty good standard.
Yes, sir. I think you guys have a very healthy fund balance.
Thank you.
If I may interject also, years ago, I had a board member ask us a very similar question, basically how much fund balance is enough? And the answer was about 3 to 6 months, which is right where we're at. But the more critical part of that answer was, what are your plans in the future to do with that fund balance? And our hope is to basically try to put some of that into a fund for some future major building projects that hopefully will mitigate the need to ask the community for, or at least lessen the need for the amount that we may need for those projects. So I think with the coming up with the next year, when we do our budget presentation, there's a bigger draw on fund balance that's anticipated. And this year's fund balance of $3.1 million that we're adding to is actually $600,000 to $700,000 less than last year's final, addition to fund equity. So we'll be transferring some of that money into the capital projects funds.
All right. Any other questions? Motion to accept and
I would so move that we accept the 2024 audit as presented.
Support.
have a motion by Commissioner Tillotson, supported by Commissioner Martis. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Great job, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see you, Mike.
Good to see you as well.
I'll work on your name, Dan. We have with us today the Director of Community Mental Health, Catherine Suchek. I can get that one right. Our Executive Director.
Hello, I'm Catherine Suchek. I'm the Executive Director for Lenawee Community Mental Health. I want to thank you for this opportunity to provide information about the current threat to the public behavioral health system. As I was coming in here, I started thinking I've been with Lenawee CMH for just over 30 years. Can you believe that? I mean, so I started when I was 5, right? But really, much of the work that I've done for those 30 years has been in the community, working with community members, identifying needs, working towards solutions. And in my 30 years, I've met some pretty incredible, dedicated leaders in this community. And honestly, attending to the needs of our community has been a long-standing role for our CMH and for the County Commission. So in order to really help you understand what's at stake here, I'm going to do a little bit of history, if you'll indulge me. And if you will recall, I said I've been here only just over 30 years. So no, I was not here. I might not have even been around when the Community Mental Health Law Act was enacted into law, signed into law. That was 1963. In the late 60s, the county leaders began focusing on the mental health needs for this community. And the Lenawee County Commission appointed the first mental health board late in 1970. There aren't a lot of clear notes about why, but that board was kind of let to move on, and a new board was appointed in 1971. That board did quite a bit of work with the state, was recognized in 72, and hired their first administrative executive director. Some of you may remember Roger Myers was the first director for CMH. So it's a long-standing partnership that our CMH has had with the County Commission. Just some other dates that we thought were significant is when we worked with the commission to move into the Human Service Building. 1988, no, I wasn't there yet. But in the last note is when we became an authority. I was with the organization at that time. Our, next slide, our approach to planning and service delivery has always been by collecting community input through a variety of opportunities, things like town halls, our board meetings, in particular in the community committees that we participate on. We're always seeking input from them. And then the way that we provide services is based on community need. And that's the beautiful part about having local CMHs. So throughout history of our time here, we have done things like in the 70s created the work to create the Human Service Council. And they worked together to make sure there weren't duplications of services and did things like Call Someone Concerned, which was a crisis service available 24 hours a day with a place for people to go. In the 80s, working with Bixby Hospital, creating life services that was focused moving from the medical model to what do people need to be able to live in the community? What are the services that we need to provide? In the 90s, we had the focus on wraparound and kids in care and bringing them home and keeping them in our community. And even today, we have things like the Pathways Engagement Center, which came from a community meeting where we heard loud and clear, we need a place for people to go who are working on substance use issues that's open and available after hours, and not just a phone number. I don't know how many times I heard, and not just a phone number. So we have pathways out there. And currently we are working with first responders on a mobile crisis unit that we've also been hearing about for a while. We're gonna give that a shot. So that's longstanding work that we've been doing in the community and we continue to do. The PIHPs and the public behavioral health system were really established quite a while ago. The Michigan Mental Health Code was passed in 1975. Next slide. And the purpose of that really was to make sure that there were local community mental health organizations and services in every county in Michigan. It shifted responsibility for public behavioral health to the counties and to the CMHs. So in fact, CMHs became an extension of the state department. And then it established expectations. It was important that it remain a public system. It was important that there was a comprehensive service array and that it was provided in that geographic region. Next slide. Oh, we are at the next slide. The Governor's Committee on Unification of the Public Mental Health System had some movement to really address the need to have a single point of entry. Again, what was critical is that that entry was located in the community where people needed to receive their services so that whatever needed to be in place could be done quickly and be available locally. Next slide. There was a move then to managed care. So as most of you know, we serve a small part of the population that have the greatest needs. This population is greatly impeded in the ability to function in community on their own without supports. And so those very vulnerable folks, we had to ensure had services. And so that funding is carved out of the rest of the Medicaid funding. And then there are a bunch of additional administrative expectations to make sure that these people are getting services in a timely manner within 14 days, which certainly to me seems too long, but that they get the services that they need and the supports that they need, and that they are protected in this current system. In the managed care situation, they also moved to regional entities, which we now call prepaid inpatient health plans, or just to get through this quickly, PIHPs. In the state of Michigan right now, there are 10 PIHPs that cover all 83 counties. That's the entity that contracts with the state for the Medicaid money. You can see us in that beautiful bright green. We are a 4-county region. We function in shared governance, and Lenawee has as strong a voice there as any of the other counties. So they are, I will tell you, Livingston, Monroe, and Washtenaw know a lot about Lenawee. And then the other requirement for PHPs is they had to be public entities. Again, next slide. In the scope of the PHP in Michigan, they serve almost 300,000 Michigan Medicaid beneficiaries and manage just over $4 billion a year for that population. We've got a couple slides in here just to show the governance structure. The CMH board is appointed by the county commission. We have 2 county commissioners on there, so you absolutely have a voice in the work that we do. We have a third of our board is supposed to be, and is, consumers or family members of consumers. And we have a 12-person board of directors. The PIHP, the next slide, shows that the makeup of that board is 3 representatives from each county board. So Lenawee has 3 members on that board, one of whom is a county commissioner, and we have equal say in decisions that are made at the region. So again, Lenawee has a very clear voice in how things are handled. Our PIHP provides a lot to Lenawee County that we would struggle to be able to do on our own. We have a shared electronic health record that they manage, they maintain, they update. The PIHP covers the cost for that. They provide oversight to a lot of our delegated functions, so they assist with provider management, compliance. They handle some of the more difficult parts of audits, of which we have many audits through the state and through CMS and other regulations that the PIHP takes the lead on, and fortunately limits how much we have to put into that. We have to participate in all of them, but they really help coordinate it for us. They're the coordinating agency for substance use money, and they provide a lot of administrative support. Next slide. So the procurement proposal that's out there right now, next slide, it's creating a competitive process to take over management of the entire behavioral health system for Michigan that can be applied for by most any entity as long as they're nonprofit, to be defined later. So it could be a private entity, it could be universities, it could be just about anybody that's interested in getting a hold of that just over $4 billion. Next slide. The goal at the state is that there will be 3 regions now. The current PIHPs are not eligible to apply, which is a little alarming because they at least know how this works. We would now be moved into a region of 44 counties. We will be in the central region. Next slide. So their governance structure that they're proposing mandates more of a private style board that is completely separate from the counties and any providers. It prohibits anyone from a CMH board from participating. There will be no more than 15 members, so I'm not sure out of 44 if Lenawee is going to be selected to be a part of that board. It's unclear how they're going to figure out the boards yet. And then they're in the contract, they're requiring adherence to Open Meetings Act and FOIA, but there's no real public recourse if it's not followed. That would be up to the state to enforce the contract. This is the timeline that the department is proposing. They hope to have award. They released a survey that they refer to all the time in February and March, but the survey really didn't address exactly what they were going to do. It was really just getting some snippets from people that they could use to promote what they've decided to do in terms of privatizing the system. Their goal is to have the awards by February and a whole new PIHP system in place October of 2026. And when asked about this, they talk about their 4 pillars. And I'll tell you a little bit about how the system works right now. High quality, timely services is a hallmark of the current system. Again, we have requirements of when we need to get people into services, and we have up to 14 days. That's a long time. In our opinion, we get people in a lot sooner. This is specialty behavioral health for people who have the highest impairments, and it's just critical that you get them in as quickly as you can. In the health plans, some of whom are interested in applying for this do have wait lists, and I'm not sure how somebody would be managed on a wait list when I think of the folks who need total care. They need help with bathing and eating and, you know, all those sort of things, or some of the folks that aren't in control of behaviors and become dangerous to themselves or someone else. You have to act, and you have to act quickly. Wait lists are not acceptable. Improving choice and consistency across regions. I'm not sure how they're going to explain that one, because all they've done is change the payer. It will be just a different payer system. It doesn't increase availability. In Lenawee, when we try to find new providers for things like community living supports, we've brought in our 4th provider, and they still can't find staff. The issue is, as we've seen across all of healthcare, staffing shortages. It's hard to find the people, and simply bringing in a new provider or saying, we've got this provider over here, doesn't mean they're going to come to Lenawee to provide services. People then might have to travel. Ensuring accountability and transparency, again, just as we talked about, the Open Meetings Act and FOIA, that's in place right now and at risk. We also have a robust rights system. Anybody can call at any time if they think someone's rights are being denied. If we deny services to somebody, they can appeal it. They have several ways to appeal, with second opinions, local appeals, state appeals. We have grievances through customer service. And we have multiple audits by the state, as I said, and from our accreditation body and auditors, our finance and our compliance. So there's an awful lot of accountability and transparency. And simplifying the system with reduced bureaucracy. I try not to say even though I wrote that in my notes. The bureaucracy that people are frustrated with has been created by the department. And for years, even back in Roger's days, I know we have worked to say, reduce the paperwork, reduce all of the things that you're expecting providers to do. Let's spend our time providing services. That's really critical. So that simplifying the system and reducing bureaucracy really could have happened and still could. Next slide. So some of the concerns that we want to bring to you as we're asking for resolution. There will be less money for services. You can go to the next slide. Right now, the current PIHP administrative rate across the state is about 2%. Most of the health plans, their administrative rates, and many of the other organizations that we've seen interested in this have a 15% administrative rate. So, and in Lenawee, or in our region, our PIHP is a 1.6% administrative rate. So they do all of that work for much less than 2% of our entire budget. Having the health plan management takeover would result in $500 million less for the system, and then more specific to Lenawee, about $4 million less for services here. Less money available for services really puts the strain on a lot of our community partners. As we talked about, how important it's been that we do the work with our partners to, even if we can't serve a person, figure out how to support public safety, our law enforcement, our first responders, working with the jail on trying to provide some things. We've been very active in specialty courts, working with local school systems and the health department. And those are some pretty grave concerns for us. Next slide. Again, the loss of local control. If right now, if there's concerns with services not being as they should be, we can react. We can go to a provider, we can talk to our staff, we can make sure that things are in place as they need to be. We're required to address any concerns that come to us. We're certainly going to hear about them. In this new model, oversight of the continuum of services will be handled at a more corporate level, and it's unclear how the public will connect to the system. Right now, any of the leaders in this community, really the community, can reach leaders at CMH when they have a question and they need something taken care of, as the sheriff has reminded me. It's not a problem to get a hold of somebody when you know there's a question, or we need something taken care of. That's what we do. Next slide. Again, it weakens the transparency and accountability. Those protections that are in place right now may or may not be followed. It's unclear what rights or appeals or any of those sort of things are even going to look like. Next slide. Through the managed care model, CMHs have been ensuring access, authorizing care, creating needed programming, and working with local partners to carry out local decisions for decades. Next slide. What we do know, just from looking at other states that moved to privatization, is there actually were payment delays. The rates weren't always accurate. A lot of claims simply got rejected and had to be appealed. There were significant losses of community partnerships, and there was an increase in fraud. And then, most importantly, this is going to have a real negative impact on people here in our community. Just starting with the people we serve, they very often struggle due to the need for services. They're unsure where to turn. They're unsure who to trust. And they're often very, very vulnerable and in a very difficult time of life when they come into services for us. So we really have to be the ones reaching out and making all of the effort in those early days. It's also going to impact our staff and provider network, where we have over 70 providers right now. And we just learned that it's going to be the responsibility of the providers to get contracts with the new entity. Right now, that's the responsibility of the PIHP and the CMHs to make sure that we have the providers we need and the array of services, but I guess that's going to flip. And as we know, there are changes that are coming to Medicaid funding that could result in people losing their coverage. If they're not careful, they don't follow there's going to be some new rules. Dismantling the public system right now is only going to create even more chaos at a time where people are scared. They're unsure of what's going to happen. And right now, we are able to work together with our community partners to keep people safe. And I don't have a question slide, but I'm willing to answer questions if you have them.
Questions for Catherine? Commissioner Collins.
Well, you answered a couple of the questions I had jotted down here towards the end. I assume this is going to dilute the ability, both financially and staff-wise, of existing services that you are offering.
Yes.
And that this is not an optional thing to get into. It's going to be a mandate. Am I correct?
Correct.
What brought this about? What created this need for?
That's a good question for the department. Their standard response is we want high quality, easy access, the things that we already provide. If those were an issue in the current system, I would think that would have been part of an audit and a corrective action plan, but that's not been the situation. So honestly, I'm not entirely sure why they're doing this now.
Commissioner Martis.
Well, Terry asked essentially my same thoughts. My question was, is this being driven by legislation or bureaucratically by the department? And secondly, what's the perceived problem they're trying to fix?
So it is driven by the department director, Elizabeth Hertel. And I think it's because she decided she was going to do it. It's our public system and our overall system is not perfect. I wouldn't stand up here and say that it was. We're always working to improve that. And we've always been willing to work with the department on any issues that they perceive we need to do. And generally they put things in our contract and we follow our contract. But because we're local, we're able to do more that's specific to our community.
Two questions, Catherine. What happens to our 500 and some thousand dollars that Lenawee County government puts in there?
I believe that the new entity will be able to take over whatever funding we currently have and any assets that we have.
But, okay, but if we're not in favor of this program, that could end our commitment to the...
That's a question that I don't believe has been answered. There's a lot of unanswered questions.
And the second one is that in our meeting prior with Administrator Murphy and yourself, and we talked about a meeting, and I think that's very important. Is that what the town hall meetings? Okay, but are all of our representatives and our senators going to be there?
They're all invited. They'll receive invitations shortly, and we've been communicating with them.
Well, I think if the town hall doesn't bring them in, we want to schedule a meeting with all of those people and yourself and talk about this. So,
yeah, that's a great idea.
Other questions? Commissioner Blanco.
Thank you. Just a quick one, and you probably don't know yet, but how will this impact like your staffing? And you know, I would see that this is going to majorly and just impact all the services and everything that Lenawee County has, you know, has built up over the years. And
it's hard to know. One of the requirements is that whatever new PIHP there is, and there could be multiple in each region, they'll be required to contract with the CMH, maybe among other providers, and then they will take over all contracts of all providers. So I don't know how many contracts they're going to do and how that will impact our local providers. I do know that our local providers are critical to the care that our folks receive, and we certainly don't want to lose them.
Commissioner Krasny.
Point of clarification, I am assuming that Ms. Hertel works for Governor Whitmer's administration?
She does. She was appointed by Governor Whitmer.
Okay, so that is an administrative issue and a lot less of our local legislators, just point of clarification. But they should know about this so they can act.
I do, yeah, and I do believe legislators can act on this and bring pressure to bear on the governor's office to put a stop to it. There are also legislators who will still be here in 2027 to deal with the aftermath if this is moved forward, and they might want to give that some thought.
Any other questions? Okay, okay, this is a dialogue between the commission. You can make your comments in open count. Okay. And just for the commission's understanding, correct me where I'm wrong here, Catherine, is that when this was originally originated in what year for Lenawee County RPFP went into effect?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
When we pledged our money, that's a discretionary amount that was pledged by Lenawee County.
Correct. When we became an authority, you pledged a set amount.
We said that we would leave that there as long as it was an authority. So just remember, if you're not an authority, I guess our pledge does not necessarily have to be there.
I agree with that.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very informative. And for any of the people that are interested, there's a town hall meeting on September 16th at the Align Center over on the east side of town to talk specifically with the community about this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Special presentation by Sheriff Bevere. Employee recognition. Sheriff. What happened to our mic? Let me get it. Hold on.
Thank you. I will be very brief, but when we have an employee that makes it 30 years in county government, I think it's very important to recognize them, especially when we have someone that does such a difficult job. I mean, if you look up thankless job in the dictionary, Deputy Borton's name will be right there. Deputy Borton is our animal control officer, and he does a fantastic job, and he's been doing this a long time, and he has been in county government for a long time. So 30 years at the end of July, and we want to recognize what a great job he does, and just for 30 years of service to Lenawee County. Service and appreciation of 30 years, Animal Control Officer Dave Borton, and recognition of your dedicated service to Lenawee County Sheriff's Office and the community.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion would be in order to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by Commissioner Collins. The consent agenda are for items. We have a committee of the whole of Ways and Means yesterday for items that were unanimously passed at that point, and they go through today. Discussion. Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Daly,
Yes.
Commissioner Krasny,
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson's absent. Commissioner Tillotson,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Doren,
Yes.
Commissioner Ungst,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanco,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
8 yeas, 1 absent.
Consent agenda passes, and we'll move on to standing committees, and we'll be brief on these because we have a number of people to interview for the commission position, or the road commission position. So accounts payable, Commissioner Martis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The minutes for the 3 meetings, 7:10, 7:24, and 8:07 are all in your packet. I presume you've all seen the summary, so I will not belabor that entire paragraph full of numbers for you. But I will move to recommend the approval of the accounts payable payments in the amount of $9,848,158.51, with the general funds portion being $992,742.03.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by Commissioner Collins. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Bills are paid. Thank you very much. Criminal Justice, Commissioner Collins.
Criminal Justice met on August 7th. There was a discussion with the people from the Crime Stopper program as to why it was halting, due in a large part to the law enforcement's use of social media and other programs. Sheriff advised that fair went well for their first time in security, and there was some discussion from Murray Spear campus about the programs the kids are involved in.
Any questions? Thank you, Commissioner. IT and Equalization, Commissioner Krasny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. IT and Equalization met on Thursday, August 7th at 11 a.m. We had discussed the Cisco access point project being completed. Interesting that 25,000 users used our county website in the month of July alone. So great job with that project, as well as the great job that Director Jennifer is doing with regarding the social media archive, which has far big impacts with regard to saving our social media documents, et cetera, so they're accessible for FOIA, and it's a newly sort of created field as social media continues to expand, and there's various judicial fights on that topic. So great job, Jennifer. And we got a report from Equalization Director DeLong. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Personnel, Ways and Means, Commissioner Martis.
We met yesterday, of course. The minutes are in your packet. I think everything was on the consent agenda. One notable item is that we rescheduled the discussion of the payment contract with the Kiwanis Regional Trail Authority to next month.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Policies and Procedures, Commissioner Collins.
The procedure met on the 4th of August. The IT policy is still going through review from staff. There was a completion on our part, of the committee part, of a policy referred to actually as the dual reading policy. This has to do, I assume you all have in your packet, this has to do with the reading of an expense, proposal of an expense that was not in the budget, was not of emergency status, that in fact be read at 2 separate meetings so that people have the time to review it. Referred to as the dual review policy. I'll answer any questions, but if not, I would move it to be accepted by the commission and approved.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Martis. Is that correct? Discussion. So just a couple items. I don't know if the administrator wants to comment or not, but on personnel and minimum requirement.
Yeah, this policy specifically addresses the non-personnel, non-budgeted items that are over the amount of $10,000. The reason for that caveat is the $10,000 is an allowable expenditure under the Appropriations Act for the county administrator. And we have not had any problems at all with departments in the non-personnel area. We've been able to work very well together. We've had a couple of situations on the non-personnel situation, which I think is what is driving this particular policy. In addition, the committee had recommended that this policy be effective January 1, as we are right in the middle of the budget cycle and closing in on the end of the year. So it might make it a little bit difficult at the end of this year to implement this policy with a short notice.
Sorry, I forgot to add that to my motion. I will make that as part of my motion.
Okay, you would like that part of the motion. Is that okay on the support?
Support, yes.
Okay, thank you. Great. And this is a long-standing challenge by the department that was brought up by Commissioner Tillison some 20 years ago. So glad to see it moving forward, Ralph. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Policy will go into effect January 1st, 2026. Physical Resources, Commissioner Krasny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Physical Resources met on Thursday, August 7th as well. We have a great ribbon cutting to invite the public to right now, scheduled for September 26th at 2 p.m. You might want to check the calendar to see if there's any changes, but right now, September 26th at 2 p.m. for ribbon cutting for all the great improvements that's happened out at Marie Spears campus. We closed some projects. The health department gave us an overview of the bids that were received and improving the facilities of the health department. It was a great job by Monica Hunt to go forth and to the grant process, and this will all be funded or mostly funded by state grants. Additionally, we approved a project for new fiber optics to the administration and MSC addition. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Questions? What's the date of that ribbon cutting?
September 26th at 2 p.m.
Friday. Okay, very good. Hopefully everyone can make it. That's quite a project, and it's well-known throughout the state of Michigan, so we're looking forward to it. Nice facility, nice job by our administrative staff of putting it all together. Any questions? Thank you, Commissioner. We'll go to board appointments, Airport Commission.
Airport Commission met on the 4th of August. The airport received rave reviews from the pilots who flew in for the MIS race because they were well taken care of by the local staff at the airport. And all the pilots said they definitely will return, and others said they would come in. There was an inspection for a general utility license, which was quite important at the airport. Our airport was the only one of 11 who had no gigs whatsoever. And the September meeting was moved to September 8th of 25.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Bridging the Gap Subcommittee.
Bridging the Gap met on the 16th of July. We received 2 oral presentations for requests for the opioid settlement funds. Excuse me. One from Michigan State Police Rhino Group, one from Catholic Charities. We will be meeting again next week to hear 4 separate proposals. And from this point forward, we'll probably be meeting twice a month as a committee to hear the presentations and at the end of the time, determine how we'll make selections on it.
Perfect. Questions? Thank you, Commissioner Collins. Community Action Agency and Community Mental Health, Commissioner Stimson isn't here today. County Planning Commission, Commissioner Blanco.
Yes, it met on July 17th, and they looked at a Woodstock Township request to change the zoning from recreational open space to agriculture. It was recommended for approval. Some Cambridge Township, they're making some adjustments on their, just amendments on their documentation for solar, wind, and something else too, one other thing. Solar and wind for sure. And then there was a Raisin Charter Township Farmland Agreement, PA 116, that was looked at and approved. And that was all that happened.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Department on Aging, Commissioner Collins.
Department on Aging, on the 24th of July, there was a presentation from Amy Young, who was the volunteer transportation coordinator for the Department of Aging. Indicated, for example, in 2025 to date, there's been 3,235 rides given by people in the Department of Aging for the aged population. There was positive reviews from the WellWise program, and there was balances of discussion on their budget.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Department of Health and Human Services, Medical Care Facility, Commissioner Tillotson.
I did not attend last month's meeting. They meet next Wednesday, I think, 21st anyway.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Emergency 911 District Board, Commissioner Collins.
I was unable to attend a meeting. Commissioner Runks did attend. I'm sorry. We're talking about which one now?
911.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I was unable to attend.
You want me to take that?
Commissioner Runks attended that meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So we met on July 10th. I sat in Commissioner Collins' place. 2 dispatchers, Nicole Coase, Adam Daggs, have been promoted to shift leaders. They're working on a link layer authentication for the radios to communicate with Ohio. At the time of the meeting that was scheduled to be done, I can tell you, I do believe it is done now. And they also completed the backup HVAC system. And additionally, they are working on replacing the MEVO, which is anywhere kit. Basically, they can take the 911 phones and go anywhere with them. Some of that technology is outdated, and they're in the process of getting that updated.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner Runks. Health Board, Commissioner Collins.
Health Board met on the 16th of July. There was a presentation from Dr. Chernin from the Health Board indicating there's a new strain of COVID. Now it's hard to keep score on the strains for COVID, but a new strain, NB.8.1. It's the Omicron variant, not as severe as the others. Avian flu is non-existent in county, and they're working a 5-year plan for operation and budgeting.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Homeland Security, Emergency Local Planning, Commissioner Collins.
It's not met since our last meeting.
Thank you. Land Bank Authority, Commissioner Collins.
did not meet, since our last meeting.
Thank you.
Too many notes.
Lenawee Public Transport, Land Bank Authority, Commissioner Collins?
Did not meet since our last meeting.
Oh, second, thank you. Public Transportation Authority, Commissioner Tillotson?
Didn't attend, it was Fair Week, and I was pretty busy on Fair Week.
Was Fair Week, good.
Yes, very good.
MAC is in summer recess. And I don't think we had anything on your side either, did we, Deputy Administrator? Okay, thank you. Marie Spear Campus, Commissioner Collins?
Marie Spear Campus met on the 16th of July for their annual meeting. There was discussion in each of the different subcommittees within the organization. Just of note, in the annual report for a year's time, there were 156 residents of Marie Spear Campus, 57 from Ottawa County. As of this meeting, there were 23 at the time. They're hoping for a September completion, as Mr. Krasny pointed out, for the renovations. They handed out $3,444 in scholarships for previous residents, and they have graduated 3, which is kind of a record for the program now.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Michigan Works, Commissioner Collins.
Michigan Works had not met since their last meeting.
Thank you. Parks Commissioner, Commissioner Tillotson.
Parks Commission will meet on, I believe, the 19th, is that correct?
18th.
18th. We will meet in the morning at 11 o'clock. We will have a picnic at 5 at River Park. We had a grant of about 100 and give or take $176,000. It's a kind of a musical situation, kind of new to the parks. We look forward to a nice amount of people to come to the picnic, and that's at 5.
Questions? And the people from the state are going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We welcome everyone to join us that can.
Are they bringing a dish to pass?
Bring a dish to pass.
Oh, the people from the state, are they bringing them?
Right, correct. Including sourdough bread, right? Okay, Region 2 Planning, Commissioner Tillotson. I don't think we had a meeting, did we?
No, we didn't.
Solid Waste, Commissioner Stimpson's absent. Substance Abuse and Disorder, Commissioner Tillotson.
That committee meets tonight, 6 o'clock, Ann Arbor.
Okay, liaison reports, MTA, which is Michigan Townships Association, Commissioner Blanco.
That doesn't meet again until September. They take the summer off.
Thank you. Road Commission, Commissioner Martis.
I did meet with them last Thursday. It's still complicated by the fact that I have to leave quickly to be at our AP meeting a half hour after theirs starts. But of course, the big discussion is about, the part that I was there and observed is still, looking forward to these fine candidates here who've applied for the vacancy on the Road Commission. So.
Questions? Veterans Affairs, Commissioner Collins.
Veterans Affairs been on the 8th of August, 8th of August, yes. Report on all the meeting and services the staff attended. There were 3 Michigan Veteran Trust Fund applications. This is a statewide program that gives assistance to veterans. 2 VRPs, this is the Lenawee County one from the Gulf War for $2,024, one from Vietnam War, $2,000, and they're still issuing gas and fuel cards to needy veterans.
Questions? Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Wellwise Services met on June 18th. Actually July. But anyways, the new CEO evaluation will be looked at in 90 days. They approved the 2026 schedule. And then they discussed the Consumers Energy grant, where Consumers Energy suggested that they apply to their foundation for a grant in Julie Weatherby's name, who just recently retired as their executive director, for 2 vans to move people throughout the county that need handicap assistance. The total grant was $134,000. Consumers gave them approved a grant for 65,000. So the two vans are would go to Hillsdale County, one to Lenawee County, one to Hillsdale County. Jackson doesn't need one. They have plenty of vans over there, I guess. So they wanted $65,000 out of the reserve fund so that we could make sure that both Hillsdale and Lenawee got one. And so they approved that, and it will be owned by the Department on Aging and gifted to us by Wellwise. Questions? Okay, with that, any other liaison appointments? Unfinished business? Okay, we're coming to the new business section, and that's our road commission applications for everyone's, oh, excuse me.
Before we get to that, we actually have the October meeting to discuss under new business.
Thank you. All right.
In that one, currently all of the committee meetings and commissioner meetings are being adjusted by a week because of the Michigan Association of Counties Conference. So therefore it's being recommended that the Board of Commissioners meeting that is currently scheduled for Wednesday, October 8th be moved to Wednesday, October 15th.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Tillotson, supported by Commissioner Martis. Discussion. And that will move just basically all the meetings back one week, right?
Correct. At this point, we have taken this request to all committees. This is the last meeting that had that request taken to. So now that after this vote and those have finally been established, we will get a new schedule out to all the commissioners.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Collins.
Committees, we mean those affected in that 2-week period, not all.
The ones that we have voted on, correct.
Mostly standing committees.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Motion, or all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Meeting date changed. Any others? Unfinished business. Okay, moving into new business. Road Commission applications. For those that aren't aware, we have an opening at the Road Commission, and legislatively, it's the Board of Commissioners that makes that appointment to the Road Commission. So we put out an RF request for applications, RFA, and received 7 of them. And we're going to, their portfolios have been given to each one of the commissioners here today and have been reviewed by them, and they will currently have 3 minutes to discuss with the commission anything that they'd like to discuss, and then we'll have a 3-minute question period after that. And these are done in the order, they will be called up in the order that the applications were received. And the first applicant is Mr. Todd Brown.
All right. Good afternoon. I'm Todd Brown at 6747 Toma Road in Clayton. The reason that I'm seeking appointment for road commissioner position is because my entire career is rooted around improvement to infrastructure and roadway networks. My career is rooted in public service and public administration. I spent about 15 years with the city of Adrian in project management of roadways, and I finished up there as director of engineering of public works and parks as well. I left the city to grow my opportunity across the state to get in front of other communities, and not just in the city of Adrian and not just in Lenawee County. I have about 25 years of experience in infrastructure design, construction, civil engineering, and public administration. I feel right now is a good time for me to move into this position to be able to share my experience and use it for the greater good of the community. I have a solid understanding of available funding sources for roadway infrastructure and roadway projects specific to county road commissions. I currently work with local agencies, other consulting firms, other road commissions, public works facilities as well across the state. I work, excuse me, I have a lot of relationships, many relationships, including townships, cities, villages, road commissions, not just in Lenawee County, but also across Michigan. So the connections that I have with the townships, with everyone else across the state, will help foster collaboration, streamline communications, and ensure alignment on shared goals that we all have. By strengthening these ties with residents and officials within the communities, I'll help to enhance transparency with current projects as well as future planning for the Road Commission. So I understand the role of a commissioner is not to get engaged with day-to-day operations. It's to formulate the policies and to see sure that those the actions are consistent and followed through. So the role is also to empower the manager to continue to maintain a skilled team, to set the clear, effective policies and to guide the Road Commission into success, continued success. From the years of experience that I have working with other road commissions across the state, I bring outside perspective. Networking with industry professionals has equipped me with insights to bring innovative solutions into Lenawee County. The Lenawee County Road Commission is renowned for its innovation, its accountability, and for the impressive project output. I'm inspired by the commitment to the safety and fiscal responsibility that's already happening with the county. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the time go off there.
Kind of wrapped up there.
Okay. So just in the last comment here, my whole goal here and the reason that I'm running is to support strategic planning, enhance communication, and prepare LCRC for the infrastructure demands that are coming.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Questions? Any questions by any of the commissioners? I know everyone's had an opportunity to material. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Mr. Dan Witt.
Hello.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Witt. I'm a lifelong resident of Lenawee County. I'm married for 36 years to the love of my life, Jolene. I have 3 grown children who we're both very proud of. I grew up on a family farm, and now I'm a self-employed farmer along with my brother, Dean. I recently stepped down after 16 years of service to Deerfield Township as a trustee. Been looking for a way to serve, and this came along, so I thought this might be a good fit for me. I have no agenda. I just want to be a good team player and help to explain policy to the county constituents. My past experience, I've had mechanical drawing, landscape design, so I know that was a long time ago, but the scales and the symbols and the hard and soft structures, it should help me to be a quick student on the new systems of CAD. And that's probably old by now. Large experience in large equipment, small equipment, even in construction, backhoe, skid steer, bulldozer, dump truck, labor management. I managed a lot of labor in the farms, and I definitely know the value of teamwork. I think with being able to operate the machinery and to have some of that management skills, it gives me a unique opportunity or insight into what both management and the workforce does in the Lenawee County Road Commission. In my 16 years of service, I believe I had good communication skills with the constituents at Deerfield. Regularly, I talk to them, some of them most every day. I've solicited bids, worked through budgets, debated countless proposals, and I also collaborated for 16 years with the management of the Lenawee County Road Commission. With that, I thank you for the opportunity.
Questions for Mr. Witt? Commissioner Martis.
Full disclosure, Dan and I are friends, so I'll get that right out in front of you. But Dan, I know that when you ran initially years ago, one of your goals was to do something with the bridges in the township. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And what was that? What was your hope?
Well, we were starting to be plagued. I was very young, probably 20, and our bridges started to collapse. And so also culverts. And because that, the funding that we received on the state end was barely enough to cover for snow removal, we worked very hard to solicit for a millage. And that today has really done wonders for our township. We were able to fix not only the bridges and the culverts, which I'm happily report they're all done today to double laned for safety and passage. And we are also paving roads and good rotational gravel application along with tile and all the things the road commission asks us or lets us know that would be a good thing we've been able to do. I'm very proud of that.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for the question.
Any other questions for Mr. Witt? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mr. Jim Palmer.
Good afternoon, members of the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners. Years ago, going from Blissfield to Lawrence was a 3-day journey. My letter of intent you all have received will help you understand my desire to continue to be part of organized growth here in Lenawee County. I would be honored to be selected to fill the vacancy on the Lenawee County Road Commission. As a lifelong resident in Lenawee County, my experience includes supervisor, superintendent, trustee at Raisin Tartar Township for over 27 years. As a team at Raisin Township, we changed our road plans with the help of new administration at Lenawee County Road Commission and staff and employees. Data collected by PACER ratings were taken on road conditions. We implemented plans to bring over 60 miles of local roads in our township up to a 5 to 6 rating scale, being 0 to 10, 10 being brand new. Our current rating is 5.93 and 24. There are 22 townships in Lenawee County. Raisin Charter in the last 5 years has been #1 in funding for roads with an average of $527,453. That is a 5-year average of $7,863 per mile. The plan to get to maintenance costs per year on our roads. Projected to spend $1.3 million in 25, then go into maintenance only in 26 to $531,000, 27 $426, and 28 $402,000. The leadership of Lenawee County Road Commission and staff have been getting to a maintenance only plan for all of the 1,043 miles of local roads. Lenawee County Road Commission is recognized by this as being one of the top 5 road commissions in the state of Michigan. I ask that you humble by their efforts. Serving as a volunteer over my life in Lenawee County, I have given some sincere effort for many years to County Land Bank, Solid Waste Material Management Commission, County Parks and Recreation Commission. I also served 6 years on the Michigan Association of Realtors Board of Directors in Lansing with no compensation except promoting private property ownership. I continue to serve Neighbors of Hope as a volunteer as I have for over 19 years. I heard from my dad, who was a Lenawee County Deputy Sheriff in the late 50s and 60s as a county waymaster. He said, do the right thing for others and store it in your heart. I'm very aware of the large budget needs, revenue, income, and dedicated expenses from my past experience. The journey to Lawrence has changed since Lawrence changed their name to Toledo, Ohio. Psalm 27:1. Lord is my light, my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Thank you for your consideration.
Questions for Mr. Palmer? Thank you, sir.
First time nobody ever talked back to me like that. You know,
Mr. Paul Funk.
Thank you. Why I would want this job, I recently retired. One of my regrets on retiring is I'm taking all my experience out. My neighbor informed me of this job and I thought that this would be a good use of my experience going forward. I'm a 1982 graduate of Adrian High School, and I'm also a graduate of Ferris State University. I worked for Associate Engineers for 1982 to 1990. The best thing about tonight is I can tell Lenawee County how thankful I am for Glenn Richard, who was the county surveyor. He offered me a job and he gave me a career. So if I get this job or not, that's fine. I so appreciate it. I've told you many times, I so much appreciate it. I'm a professional surveyor in both Michigan and Ohio. I'm a civil engineer licensed here in Michigan. As a member of the Michigan Society of Surveyors, I sit on the legislative committee. I review the legislation that affects surveyors, engineers, and architects at the state level. In past years, I've also sat on the Monroe Habitat for Humanity Committee, looking at properties to purchase at Mannequin Smith, as a matter of fact, when I worked there. I looked on the website. The job description is responsible for the approval of annual budgets, management, authority on expenditures, adoption of policies, contracts, agreements. I've also looked at the Road Commission minutes and some of the activities and the questions, things that are coming up on their agenda. I think I have a significant amount of experience. My 43 years of experience range from working in the oil fields of the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to multi-million-dollar developments here in the state of Michigan. I've reviewed more civil engineer plans, condominiums. I've done more sanitary water and storm cut sheets than I care to count, right? So I bring that experience. My previous work experience before my retirement this year was with DT Electric on developments throughout Michigan of up to $800 million. I have personally managed consultant contracts of over $1 million. I've been a point of contact to negotiate road use agreements with road commissions throughout Michigan and directly involved with requiring easements with drain commissions, consumers of energy, and other franchise utilities. I've also managed and permitted MDOT highway, aeronautical, railroad, the DNR, and multiple gas companies. The road commission managers such as Mark Kraft and Grashit, that time went fast. I believe good roads are safe roads, and I'd like to offer my experience to help the community.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Funk? Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Ron Whipple. Ron Whipple.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to present my qualifications. Upon hearing of the opening at a road commission member resigning, I looked into the position. I attended the meeting and I became more aware exactly what the road commission does and how it does their work on a daily basis. I have multiple years of experience in various boards. Some are elected and some are appointed. I also have near perfect attendance on all the boards that I have sat on over the years. I've been in contact with the county clerk because I also sat on Tecumseh City Council for over 20 years. And I've been assured by both the clerk and the city attorney of Tecumseh that there is no conflict of interest as far as me sitting on the road commission or Tecumseh City Council. I understand that this appointment is only till November of 2026, and I would be willing to run for that seat in November if so appointed. I have over 35 years of experience with Michigan HRDI. I'm retired from there. I was working with companies and employees in finding new employment and training opportunities. In this capacity, I was working with workforce development boards, both on a local and state level, anywhere from CETA to JTPA to the workforce development. When I left, I was the Chief State Coordinator for Michigan HRDI. I attend all meetings, prepared and informed on any of the agenda items. And again, I repeat, I have near perfect attendance on all the boards that I have sat on. Some of my boards that I've been on, I'm currently on, like I said, Tecumseh City Council for over 20 plus years. I'm on the Adrian-Tecumseh Local Development Board, which is part of Ann Arbor Spark with the Smart Zone. I currently sit on the jury board for Lenawee County. I was on the TLC Community Credit Union for over 10 years. Our assets grew over twice the amount over that 10-year period. I was involved with the Yankee Air Museum with the Blue Angels. I've been with Community Action for 5 years, and I was on the Lenawee Fair Board for 4 years, and I was with United Way for 20 plus years. What I would like to say, I will work with the current management and board, and I have no perceived agenda or any axe to grind, and I look forward to smelling the tar, tasting the dust of the road commission. Again, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Whipple? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Brian Winder.
Now I can come up. Thank you very much, commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity. Roxanne, good to see you as always. You have my resume, my recent experience in the township as well as the county, and also my vast experience in the 30 years in the United States Air Force search and rescue, and the last 10 years of that dealing with the upper levels, upper echelons of government, including policy, procedures, budgets, and the like. The most critical thing I can offer is a continuous process improvement. Extensive training and experience is what I pride myself on, but humble. And aside from that, I have traveled these county roads extensively, as well as across the country and across the world. And I am keenly aware of things that make our roads safer and more efficient. Some of the things that concern me around Lenawee County are most of the intersections, blind intersections, and how can we do a better job at clearing those out, especially for our aging population, which I'm beginning to be a part of in some of these roads. I get a little nervous driving down. But the best thing to do coming in is to listen. I have a saying from my time in the military that I developed: take care of the people, they'll take care of the mission. So nobody knows the mission of maintaining and building roads better than the people who do the work. So I would look to improve communication, collaboration, and cooperation with all the major stakeholders involved, including Michigan Department of Transportation, as well as you find men and women here. Oftentimes I feel like there are key players that are left out of the process, not to mention yesterday's announcement of the four-way stop going in at Tipton Highway and Hunt Road, which was not requested by the township, even though for years they did request some help, but they didn't request that specifically. So I'm not even coming to tell people how to do their jobs. Let's ask them questions. Let's see some data, and let's get some collaboration going with the team players. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you, Mr. Winder. Mr. Neil Halsley, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Neil Hasley. I reside at 888 Fedora Drive in Tecumseh, Lenawee County. Thank you for this opportunity to present myself for this open position on the Road Commission. And I will certainly say, from listening to all the potential candidates, you're going to have a difficult decision. They all come to you with a plethora of experience and just a drive and desire to do something well for the county. And that is to be admired one way or another from all. I do have some, as 3 minutes is going to go rather fast here, so I'm going to spew as much forth as I can here with regards to experience and how I might be a really good candidate for this opening. But I will say that I have some direct experience that I had many years ago, as I was an employee of the Niagara County Highway Department back in Western New York. And as such, a general laborer, I actually, for about 2 years in my early career, obviously, had the opportunity to be involved with road repair, snow removal, salt application, ditching, patching, all those things that make up a lot of the vast duties of the highway department. So I have a lot of experience that I personally experienced in that area. And I also have a fond appreciation for the team of people that are there and what they do for the county of Lenawee. They're all hard workers and certainly appreciate what they do, and especially during the difficult times at snow removal and for any emergencies that come up. I'll dispense with my education. You should have seen that available in my resume. My work experience, I have 30 years experience in the automotive sector, having worked for General Motors in Delphi for 30 years, working from a general assembler right up through salaried management. I also have 16 years of experience from the chemical industry, having served with Wacker Chemical Corporation here in Adrian, Michigan, as Director of Logistics for the USMCA region. And for the last 4 years, I'm a business owner here in Lenawee County as president and founder of Collaborative Logistics Services, LLC, and provide logistics consulting. As a result of all that experience, I've gained a lot of experience throughout my career in financial planning, budgeting. I've been involved with $60 million budgets plus, project oversight, in particular the $2.5 billion project, Greenfield project down in Charleston, Tennessee for Wacker. Employee oversight, including discipline, negotiations, continuous improvement, and cost cutting, which is essential for any government entity, bid specification development, contract review, strategic planning, which is critical for the success of Lenawee County and any entity, and overall driving safety, which is an overall priority. I believe I have the experience from that. And also I was a former elected official back in Western New York as a town councilman and county legislator for Niagara County, and obviously have served a lot of viable committees that are pertinent to what this experience would be and entail. And again, I want to appreciate the opportunity that's been afforded to me in presenting my experience and credentials. And I would ask respectfully for your consideration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Questions? You didn't have much snow back there in Niagara County.
Oh, just, yeah.
My wife
came over from Erie County in Buffalo that we made it.
My wife's from Buffalo.
You know exactly what you contend with there.
Any other questions? Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
And thank you to everyone that spoke to us today. It's going to be, Mr. Housley was very correct. It's going to be a difficult decision and a lot of good people here, but I'll open it up for discussion amongst the commissioners. Commissioner Collins.
Are we making a selection today?
Yes.
I agree with Mr. Astley. It is going to be a difficult decision. A great deal of experience with these gentlemen all the way through here, and you can tell a great deal of zeal for the county of Lenawee. However, in my opinion, there's one that stands out a bit. I would enter a nomination, Todd Brown. Todd worked for the city of Adrian for 15 years. And during those 15 years, was part of management, part of supervision, part of budget development, part of budget submission. He worked on programs that dealt with the roads in the city of Adrian, and obviously in collaboration with the county. He is now in a position that further enhances that. I think of all 7 distinguished individuals, Todd would have the best opportunity to serve the road commission.
So that's a motion to...
That's correct.
I have a motion by Commissioner Collins. Supported by Commissioner Unks. Discussion. Further discussion. Commissioner Krasny.
I'd just like to say that it was, even though I'm maybe the 4th most senior county commissioner on here, it seemed like just yesterday I was pulled in the awkward situation of applying for a vacancy, an appointment through the appointment process. And I hope in short order, we kind of step away as commonplace of doing the appointments. I understand that there's often situations that arise that we have to go through the appointment process, but I just want to remind those of you that so valiantly showed up today and offered to serve your county and its residents that we're only an election away. So there's plenty of other opportunities if you don't get appointed to get engaged and get active in our community. So that being said, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time.
You're Commissioner Krasny. Commissioner Martis.
I would echo some of Dustin's comments. I mean, this process has brought to the fore a host of highly talented and capable people who are interested in county government, and we have opportunities all the time for people to step up. So, you know, unfortunately, we don't have 7 openings. We have 1. But we have many openings and availabilities to serve throughout the county. And so, again, I really appreciate your time and reaching out to us. And I don't be surprised if you're contacted again on other matters.
Thank you, Commissioner Martis. And just to echo that, Commissioner Martis is absolutely correct. You know, we do have an aging board, a number of boards here not only at the commission, but also at the road commission. So
what are you trying to say?
I'm sure there's going to be other openings here in the future. Commissioner Ungst.
Yeah, I'd like to echo some of the other comments made. The candidates may have recognized that there wasn't a lot of questions asked after you were done talking. And I want to compliment all of you for the fact that you guys all did excellent letters of intent. I am sure all my colleagues, like myself, we spent a lot of time going through them ahead of this meeting. The broad experiences that you guys have. We all know the Road Commission Board has 3 board commission members, unlike us having 9, but there's 1 opening. And the way I see it, if they would have had a 9 board member, just like what we do, I would put all 7 of you on, because you guys really bring in a vast experience, and this is a very tough decision. You know, you guys were pretty equal on your level of experiences. And I want to thank you for applying, because I was very impressed with how much interest there was in this position.
Mm-hmm. Very well said, Commissioner Ungst. Commissioner Tillotson.
So when we vote, is it going to take 5?
Yes.
And that's, I probably know half the people on here. And as Mr. Unk said, very, very people, all of them very, very people. So, as whoever I vote for, other people don't understand that one of them played ball with me a long time ago. But we had so much fun when we were 15 playing ball that I remember it today just like it was last night when we played. Yeah. But it's, that person, at this moment, I don't know if he can get 5 people. And that's why I asked that question. I really, I guess enough said. It's a hard decision. It's not going to be hard if somebody doesn't nominate somebody else, because you got 1 nomination. But I don't know of anybody I can nominate that'll get 5.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else? Hearing none. All those in favor of Mr. Brown as the next drain commissioner?
Road commissioner.
Road commission, excuse me, drain commission, road commission. I'm on too many commissions. Signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. You're appointed as a new road commissioner, Mr. Brown. Thank you to each and every one of you. I mean, there were a lot of nice points made here today. You know, we will have your information on file, and as we move forward, I'm sure there's going to be other opportunities, and there's a lot of great qualifications here. Thank you very much. So, new business, we have a request for a building naming. A number of requests have come in to name the sheriff's office the Richard L. Drummond Building, much like the judicial building was named after Rex Martin. So this is open for discussion with the commission on your thoughts and what we'd like to do with that. It would take a majority vote of the commission to establish that to happen. Commissioner Ungst.
As a 33-year employee of Lenawee County Sheriff's Office and being hired by Sheriff Drummond and knowing his history, longest serving sheriff in the state of Michigan, I fully support the idea of naming the building after him. I think that would be a great tribute. My only regret would be that we didn't do it sooner when he was here, but I do feel that would be a great tribute to a great man.
Commissioner Collins.
Well, I too want to state that in full disclosure, I was a very good friend of Dick Drummond's. Worked with him a great deal when I was police chief. But as Commissioner Rugg said, he was the longest serving sheriff in the state of Michigan, president of the State Sheriff's Association, president of the National Sheriff's Association, and served in a great deal of other ones. Virtually a lifelong member of the Kiwanis Club, involved in a lot of projects. It's unfortunate that we don't have a set of guidelines that we can adhere to, making the decision probably a great deal easier, but we don't. We're treading in new territory here, although we do have a building named after someone. But I think if that building is going to be named after anybody, there certainly is no other candidate worth it than Dick Drummond.
Thank you, Commissioner. And just for everyone's information, I did research this with our county clerk. We went back and took a look at the Rex Martin building, and there were no qualifications established. There is nothing in writing of how that happened, and there was no type of program to move this forward. That's why I brought it here. So that's why we're here today. Commissioner Krasny.
I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiments and the facts and the data. When you say the longest serving sheriff with a nearly impeccable record, it would kind of bear the question, if not name it after him, then who, right? So I definitely wholeheartedly agree, and didn't work for him for the longevity that you two have, but known him for a long time, and I do think Terry is a little biased because he is a Kiwanian, but he should still be able to vote on the matter.
Thank you, Commissioner Krasny. Well, I too have a relationship with the Drummond family and also the sheriff. I was a young fire chief. I think I've discussed this before with the committee. And, you know, Dick and I got along, but unfortunately, because I was a little aggressive and he was the sheriff, I was in his office as many times as some of his officers were, I'm sure. So, but what a great tribute to him for everything that he did for this county, and for the state and for the nation. So, Commissioner Tillotson.
And I think what you said takes precedence over any written matter that might be available or should be available. He done the job well, and he just done things. You know, if he had a matter, he didn't bring it to commission. He took care of it over at his office. and he just, one of the big things he done, nobody's mentioned much about, is he was on the election board, which is very important. Hard to get the right people.
Right.
And he just was a super individual. And I don't think we need to know everything he done. He just done everything he did well. And because of that, I think it's a good opportunity.
Thank you. Commissioner Collins.
I'm here in general support. These five of us have spoken in general support for doing so. That being the case, I will make a motion that the Lenawee County Sheriff's Building hereafter be named the Richard
L. Germán.
L. Germán.
I think did we have that motion? No.
No,
Okay.
I'll support it.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure the total wording, Richard L. Germán Sheriff's Building.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. I don't know if you just, well, how's the Rex Martin building? Just Rex, does it say building afterwards or? Judicial, okay. Yeah. So it'd probably be the Richard L. Germán Sheriff's Department.
I'll support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Ungst. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Krasny.
Does it have to include the middle initial at this moment, or can we decide on that later?
Why, you trying to save money for the sign?
It's just going to be a lot easier for all of a century for people to say the Richard Germán Sheriff's Building rather than the Richard L. Germán, but okay.
Well, I thought you were being fiscally responsible. What's the preference? I mean, it's our vote here. So what's the preference? Is it the Richard L. Germán or is it the Richard Germán?
Can we consult the family?
Sure.
I think that would be the best precedent. Some people go by the middle initial. Some people don't like their middle initial. Maybe it's something we can talk to the family about what their preference would be.
Good point. Commissioner Ungst.
Yes, he did use his middle initial a lot, and I saw a lot of his signatures, but I completely agree with Commissioner. Talk to the family, and I'm good with either.
Commissioner Krasny.
I doubt he's going to be confused in this county with anybody else.
I think you're right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Sheriff's Department will be named the Richard Germán Sheriff's Department, maybe with an L. Okay. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? If you would please step forward. So just as a reminder, give us your name and location, even though we may know where you're from. And this is, your comment should be directed to the commissioners, and this is not a dialogue between the commissioners. This is for you to give us a response during a public comment section. Go ahead.
I will be less than 3 minutes. Paul Funk, Clinton. I just want to say, in researching the Board of Commissioners for the Road Commission, I talked to several other road managers that I'm acquainted with, and I think you should be very happy. As I mentioned, Lenawee County Road Commission, each of them immediately said, "Oh yes, Scott," and what a wonderful person he was, how well they thought that he managed Lenawee County Road Commission. So be very thankful in your community. You've got a gentleman like that managing your road commission. I just thought you'd like to know that he's so well respected in the rest of the state. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Commissioner Tillotson.
During all of this, we never mentioned the guy that we replaced. And he resigned because of health. And I've known him for a long, long time, and it's got to where he could only take about 2-3 inches at a time when he stepped. He has cancer. It's not a secret. And I really think that we should remember him and remember him well.
Thank you, Commissioner Tillotson. Yes, next. Yeah. Pardon me?
It's not a different topic. If I had my 3 minutes, fantastic. Thank you. Matt Whitty from Raisin Township, 6766 North Raisin Center Highway. I'd like to get up and comment about the status of our elections nationwide. I'll keep it brief today. As groups of citizens around the nation are preparing to respond to the March 25th executive order regarding election integrity, this evening at 6 p.m. we'll actually be offering, my wife and I will be offering a hand count training course here in Lenawee County. We do this periodically, and it just happens to be going on again tonight. We'll be meeting over at the Lenawee County Republican headquarters. It's 114 East Maumee Street, 6 p.m. Everybody in the room is invited to attend. Doesn't cost anything. Take an hour of your time. You get an opportunity to see what citizens all around the nation are doing preparation in terms of how to hand count ballots on election night at the precinct level anywhere in the nation. It's really pretty clever, pretty slick, and it's based on, like I say, a nationwide method. We haven't invented anything new. We're just taking the opportunity to inform people how to do it. So that's my announcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Palmer.
You'll understand it when I call him Tilly. But Tilly's right. When I was here at the meeting, when I made my application, come over here and Ways and Means was meeting, and so I came in and said hi to a few people. I've been going and visiting with Stan Wilson at his home. That man is to be complimented for the time and effort he put in that job. As long as I've been at Raisin Township involved in the government, I can remember going to meetings where the commission, road commission, and the township would throw chairs at each other and dispute and not understand what it was going to take to get that done. I can also remember when we used to give just maybe $50,000 from our budget to the roads, and we couldn't understand until a recommendation from Stan Wilson said, why don't we hire Scott? Scott's got a plan, and so does Jason, his operation manager. Those two guys are enormous in thought and are very good in what they're doing. When they first brought, do you all in this room understand what fog seal is? A couple of these brilliant guys up here might. Fog seal has saved this county a tremendous amount of money implemented by Scott and by Jason. It's a Texas design that they tested in Minnesota and came to Michigan. And when they put it on Gady Road in Raisin Township, 1 year, that still is surpassed. It holds for over 5 years, and it cuts the cost. It costs about $1 million to do an asphalt 1 mile. But this only costs about $220,000 to do fog seal. And it helps our whole county for a long period of time. That happened because of Stan Wilson suggesting to Scott Merritt to come and be the director. That's what this man's done. His family is treating him with utmost care. I've had the opportunity to pray with him, be around him. He's a good citizen, Raisin Township, and he should be honored for that. I appreciate what you're doing for Dick Jamon. Same character, same character. If I can read one thing, well, I didn't get a chance to put it in my 3-minute speech, but I got a lot of hot air come out here, so don't turn the air conditioner on until I get done. Anyway, I want to pronounce your last name correctly. Is it Krantz?
Don't worry about it. Nobody else does. Krasny.
Krasny.
Kind of wrap it up here, Mr. Palmer.
Okay, historian, here we go. Old John Witherspoon, the only cleric to sign the Declaration of Independence, had this to say on the subject. It is only the fear of God that can deliver us from the fear of man. You guys are great. You're doing a great job. So is the whole staff. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. And just to be clear here, we did offer to put something together for Stan, and it was politely declined at this particular time. So, and we understand that. We looked at the wishes of the family. So, Mr. Brown.
Thank you. I will be literally 1 second. I just wanted to say thank you all. Appreciate the opportunity, and this is very passionate to me. I know it was to everybody else. They took some time to put some things together, so appreciate you guys very much. It's an awkward position to be in, but thanks again. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Stan as well, good friend. Appreciate his service too, and want to make sure that that's recognized. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Well, do us good over there. Mr. Whipple.
Just one quick announcement. I thank you for the opportunity to present my qualifications to you. And I know that the road commission is in good hands. And with the new appointment, I will support the new candidate and look forward to progress for the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public public comment? We're still under public comment. Thank you, everyone. Commissioner comments. I just have a brief one. I just want to thank the commissioners. Sometimes we look at these jobs a little thankless, but that's what we're paid the big bucks for here, I guess. But, you know, the commissioners do their homework. I've never been more proud to serve as a chairman, and I've served as chairman before than with this group, of how you get along, how you debate, may not necessarily agree, but agree to disagree, and do your homework and looking at what's on the agenda so that we can move these meetings along. And I just want you to know how proud and respectful I am to all of you for that. And accordingly, the same with our administrative staff and all the work that they do. As you can see, we're very short-handed this week, and we have people doing jobs that are just doing a great job. And we appreciate them filling in, and that goes for our corporate counsel too, who's been great at working together with the commission. So just thank you to all of you. Any other, Administrator Murphy?
Two things. Just a reminder, if any of you were planning on going to the MAC conference in October, I need to hear from you fairly quickly so that we can get those reservations made. In addition, if you have not scheduled a time to meet with me yet to go over the proposed 2026 budget, I would like for you to do that as soon as possible. That is it.
Make those appointments for the budget. That'll be coming up. Any other comments? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order. I have a motion by Commissioner Tillotson, supported by Commissioner Collins. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.